right, welcome along to the Invincible podcast. We are here again for another show. Looking forward to the weekend's game. Arsenal versus Liverpool. Joining me, I've got Lee Judges and I've got Julian. And first of all, if we get into the show, I just got to tell you about something special, a special event that's happening. At AFTV, we live and breathe the game, and we know that you do too. Well, what if you could go beyond just watching and commenting? With Omili, you can. Omili is an app where football fans can connect, debate, and shape the conversation in real time. Whether you want to host your own live debate, jump into somebody else's, or just to listen in, you can download the Omili app right now by using the link in the description below or scanning the QR code. And AFTV is in there too. Cecil and Alex from the Cop TV will be hosting a special live show on the app previewing the Arsenal versus Liverpool game this Friday at 2 p.m. They'll be tackling the big question: do Arsenal have to beat Liverpool to stay in the title race? Once you sign up, be sure to search and follow the AFTV channel so that you can interact with us and vote for whose side of the debate you're on. Omili is entirely audio, and you can participate by joining in and talking with us. All you have to do is hit the join in button and we'll pull you into the show so that you can join the debate. There's also a unique scoring system that earns you points the more you engage on there. It's super easy to use, so come and interact with us right now. Just click the link below or scan the QR code to download Omili. So get signed up right now and catch Cecil versus AGT in the debate tomorrow at 2 p.m. on Omili. First of all, guys, I think let's start by talking about the Bournemouth game, because that game has sort of set the tone for the whole week, really. You know what I mean? Because it was a poor performance against Bournemouth. We lost the game 2-0. First defeat, actually, in 6 months for Arsenal, as Mikel Arteta pointed out in his press conference. But there's been a lot of negativity following that defeat. I don't know. For me, it was a bad defeat. It was a shock defeat. Nobody was expecting that. But the reaction's been, I don't know, it's been a bit wild for me. You know what I mean? The way we've just gone from being so high and up with Arsenal and talking about title challenges and stuff like that, to being almost just like down and thinking, you know, some people even saying the title's over. We're 3 points off, well, 4 points off of Liverpool. If we beat Liverpool this weekend, we could bring it back to within a point. But how damaging was that defeat, Lee?
Well, we won't know until the end of the season, but I think it could be damaging come the end of the season. I think that's why people are probably disappointed by it and everything like that. It's just, listen, I think it's a bad day at the office. I don't think we should go too overboard about it, but obviously it was disappointing. What was disappointing, not just about the result, it was the performance, everything, the way we played. And that worries me more than just the result. I think that every team can have a bad day at the office and lose a game. That's football. And what really makes it, I think, a little bit harder for everybody to take. I think, you know, we was alluding to, you know, before, we've got out with harder games. We've beaten Aston Villa away. We've beaten Spurs away. We've drawn at Man City, and then you lose to Bournemouth. It is hard to take. I've been very, very down the last few days because, yeah, we are going to lose games, but it's the way we lose, the manner we lose games. Last season, it was disappointing to lose at the likes of Newcastle, Aston Villa, so. But the performance that really hurt me was Fulham, because we just didn't perform, and to see that again was tough. And the thing is, I get what people are saying. People are saying that, you know, these sort of performances happen a lot under Mikel. They're there, you know, Atalanta.
Do they happen a lot?
Yeah, Atalanta wasn't good. It wasn't good, but I look at that and go, well, hold on a minute. That was in between Manchester City and Tottenham, so I can give a pass on that. And this one comes along, and as you say, like, you know, 6 months since they lost their last game, which was Aston Villa at home, 13 games away from home. You can't be too down on it. You can't be going overboard about it, but there were signs there that were worrying, and I think that there's been signs over the last few weeks that this was happening. I don't think we're in great form at the moment. I think players are not in good form. And coming down on the train, I bumped into my Leeds friend, and he was just saying, like, you know, when you're missing your best players as well, you know, he was saying Leeds are missing players as well, you know. I think we all get injuries. Everybody you can accept their injuries all around, but when it's your best players, it's tough. You ain't going to get the results and performances, well, not the results, but you ain't going to get the performances that perhaps you feel that you should be getting.
The injuries have caught up with us a bit, innit? Like, you know, in that game, you know, you're missing 3 or 2 of your main players, especially in Odegaard and Saka, and then there's other injuries as well.
Well, Saliba was out for most of it as well.
Yeah, so Saliba comes off, you know what I mean, down to 10 men yet again. I mean, that as well is going to catch up with you. The 10 men thing, which we keep doing, you know, and it caught up with us, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it caught up with us.
It's not just about the fact those players are missing. What you're also missing is the relationships that they've built up. Is that when you get the same team, and he's had a lot of consistency because he's been quite fortunate with injuries, and the injuries that he has had have almost been season-ending. Like last season, we were without Timber and Partey for the vast majority of that. So what happens then is other relationships are formed, so you get a consistency. So even though you don't have those what I would consider to be first 11 players available, they're so unavailable that when the other players come in, then they form this consistency, they form these new relationships. So when you see the players that are left and the differences in the personnel week in, week out, because we've not got a consistent first 11, I think the relationships start breaking down and the team suffers because of it.
Do you think people are overreacting? Like with, you know, there's been people saying that, you know, if you don't, straight away a lot of these sort of anti-Arteta stuff came out. If he doesn't win a trophy this year, he's got to go. We've lost the league, it's over. You know, the margin for error is done, stuff like that. Do you think people are overreacting?
I think they are overreacting, but the other side of it is that the results polarise the opinion. So the performances maybe before, when, like you mentioned the Atalanta game, if Raya hadn't made that tremendous double save for the penalty, we'd have lost that one, and the reaction would have been entirely different to that game. Most people thought that was a good away result to the European champions. I know they're not, Europa League, but they're still a European champion, and people viewed that as a good result. Whereas if you don't make that penalty save, the polarisation of opinion would have been that it was a bad result. So you kind of benefit from it, from Arteta. They can get away with things. And on the other side, when the result doesn't go our way. And I think there hasn't been enough criticism of the defending, actually, because people started really applauding the Bournemouth corner. But when I watched it, what I saw was, okay, it wasn't a bad corner, but you had a player completely unmarked on the edge of the area who had a free shot.
Well,
to me, that was really poor defending.
You got a man down.
Yeah, that's right.
So you can no longer. This is the problem that happen, isn't it? You can no longer.
But the guy was in the area with time to take a shot, and a professional player will usually put that ball in the net without that kind of pressure put on him.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what happens when you're a man down, and to me, I do think there's been an overreaction. Last season, we didn't start fluently either. I think people are forgetting that. There was not a lot of fluency to our play until we got to the new year.
Yeah, after the Dubai trip.
If you remember rightly, right, like up until Christmas, we'd had a few defeats actually, hadn't we? Like we'd lost to Newcastle away, like you said, Lee. We lost to West Ham. We lost to Fulham. There was another game in there we lost as well.
Lost to Villa.
And we lost to Villa as well. And we were even some of the games that we won at the start of the season sort of thing, they were kind of like, you know what I mean? You were like, yeah, we won the game, but weren't, you know what I mean? We didn't see those big performances. So I think people have to take that into account. I think as well, the injuries thing has caught up with us a bit, you know what I mean? I think missing some of your main players is a problem. You know, I think I was saying a few weeks ago, one of the biggest compliments we can pay to the team is that we don't seem to be at the moment missing Martin Odegaard. Last couple of games, we've missed him. You can see he's that guy who leads the press, leads the whole tempo of the team sometimes. That's been lacking. That game against Bournemouth, that was missing, wasn't it? The tempo. The other night against Shakhtar, I thought we started well. Started the game well, but then again, the tempo dropped off. And, you know, we were missing him. You could see the other night, we're missing a player like Saka. That guy with just that extra bit of quality and ability, you know. So I think, and this goes back to my argument when you talk about resting players, or me and you have had this argument a lot of times. Resting players like Saka, this is why your best player always, you want him playing. Because even in these games where we're looking at and thinking, it's only Bournemouth.
Yeah, but
right?
if you had rest him, he might have been available.
Right, it's only Shakhtar, right? You can see that guy, the extra quality he brings, is what's able to dispose of those sort of teams.
It's no coincidence that we've missed Odegaard for the last couple of games because Saka's not been there as well. I think to lose the pair of them has been a big.
You're taking the whole relationship out.
Yeah,
of that
I think like, if Odegaard was back now, I don't think you'd miss Saka as much as we have done, and vice versa. I think that we was getting away with it because you've still got that magic of Saka that could produce something and all of that, like, which Odegaard can do as well. And they're different. They're the two different players. They're the players that make things happen, where the other guys are on the end of things. Martinelli's more of a sprinter and whatever. They dictate play and things like that. So it has been tough. It has been tough, but. You look on the. I think Arteta has got to take a little bit of the blame, even on
massive amount.
And even on Tuesday's performance. You know what I mean? I don't think we was great in the first half, but Partey was playing well. We was dominating midfield. We never looked in any danger. He then takes him out and puts him right back.
And he was slow, wasn't he? He's not fast enough to be in that position.
And it's just a position that, and also all of a sudden the dominance from our midfield had gone, and they attacked the right back or in down that side. It was dangerous. He was hanging on.
Well, he took off Ben White as a precaution because he didn't want him to get sent off.
Well, I like that idea.
So it wasn't an injury. It was a tactical move.
It was the wrong one.
Well,
but what if he'd have got sent off?
Yeah, but then you're going to take every time a player gets booked, you're going to sub him.
No, I'm not saying. I'm.
I'm going to give Arsenal a pass on this game Tuesday because I do think they had one eye on Sunday, and I also think that he didn't want to go down to 10 men again, not because of that, but that means that they've got to have to work a little bit harder and everything. He wanted it to reserve energy and all that. I get why he done that, but why are you putting Thomas Partey at right back? You know what I mean? You've got to find a solution. Well, I don't know. He's got to find a solution.
Josh Nichols wasn't on the bench, was he?
No.
Right. So
he's got to find a solution.
Yeah, that was his solution. Thomas Partey, he's played in there quite a few times. I mean, listen, I don't like him there. Listen, I don't like him there either.
I say it now. It didn't work last season. It's never worked this season. Why do you keep positioning it? And that's why I'm blaming Arteta again. Do things
you said
properly.
You give him a pass.
I do give him a pass on this game here, you know what I mean? Because
he weakened two positions. He weakened the midfield and he weakened right back.
He's done it too many times.
I don't think he had a right back. I can't think of who could have played right back.
Well, I'm worried that he's going to play him right back on Sunday. And you know what I mean?
There's plenty of players who normally could do it. You know what I mean? And this is where the injuries are coming in, because I guess under normal circumstances, he'd be able to play Tomiyasu there. He'd be able to play Timber there, but he ain't got that.
He's played
the injuries are pretty
right
bad.
Back at one game.
Didn't he play Calafiori there once?
I think do something. Look, Thomas Partey is a central midfield player. He dominates the ball when we've got possession. He was very, very good in that first half, and he's showing signs of getting about the pitch a lot better and everything like that. And then you're exposing him to the right back position where he's got to sprint a little bit more. I think get him easily more injured in that position where you're making sprints of 10, 15, 20 yards instead of 5, 10 when you're in midfield. I just don't. It does not work. It's never worked, and you continue to keep doing it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, who else would he have played there, though? Well, that's what I'm trying to say, because
Skelly
we have got a lot of injuries, Lee, right? So, as I said, he would normally have put a Tomiyasu or a Timber in. He'd have 3 options there normally, right? As well as, Ben White, that's the tactical sub. He'd normally have 2 options. They're both injured. Right? Lewis Skelly plays on the left. He doesn't play. He's not really paid on the right. You're going to put an inexperienced player on that right-hand side. He didn't really have if he's going to make that...
Anybody but Thomas Partey in that right back now, because it does not work.
I think you make a good point, because the fact you said anybody just shows that you can't think of a replacement.
Yeah, I can. Josh Nichols, I can think is a better replacement. Yeah, but that's down to Arteta then, isn't it? He is a better replacement than Thomas Partey. Kivior is a better replacement than Thomas Partey,
I don't remember him playing
not on the right.
Why not? He's a fullback. He plays fullback. Thomas Partey does not play fullback.
He's actually a centre half.
He's a centre back.
Well, and how many times has he played for Arsenal? Calafiori can play over there. Put Calafiori over there.
He's left-footed as well.
Yeah, but he's a fullback. Put him over there.
No, he's not. He's a centre back.
Who is?
Calafiori.
How many times has he played centre half for Arsenal?
He hasn't yet.
Right.
He is a
so he's played left back all the time.
That's where he plays for Italy. That's where he played
left back. All right.
He's more of a centre back.
Zinchenko can play there. Then you're telling me that he's not a fullback now? We're telling me he's not a fullback.
Left-footed.
Yeah. I'd rather have a fullback playing there than a centre midfield player that we know doesn't work. Are you saying it's how many times has he played there when you've turned around and said, Thomas Partey's been, that's the answer at right back? Are you saying that's the answer? You putting him there against Liverpool? Are you happy about that?
I'm not.
So there you go.
As Rob says, there was very limited options.
There's all like a professional football club, there's more options
I
than
can
that.
just imagine you if Zinchenko would have been playing out on that right-hand side, right, and he made it...
It's not bad.
Goal.
You have to look at the bigger picture. Thomas Partey was dominating midfield. We could have lost that game in the end. It was a great...
drew the game.
Drawn the game. Yeah, whatever. Drop points in that game. It's a great save by Halo, and it could have gone anywhere. But what I'm saying is you're dominating the midfield. It's not the greatest game in the world. And our midfield was... We lost control of the game. Why we lost the control of that game is because Thomas Partey went to right back. That is my, keep control of the game.
So maybe the other option would have been just play three at the back and not have not having done that. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, doesn't seem to like that, does he?
No, but that's what I've done.
He likes to go for.
Because I thought we had enough domination to not have to worry about having four at the back. And it was only when we took Partey out of midfield that you weakened it, and it gave them a little bit of impetus. But even then, the penalty and the other chances we had, it shouldn't have come down to that last scarf. I still don't understand how Trossard was taking that penalty as well.
Don't get me on that. Don't get me on that. Furious.
I don't get that. Why is Havertz not taking it?
It's Havertz that I blame the most.
I do.
If I was Havertz, I would have grabbed that ball. That would have been the first thing I'd done. I could have broken a record.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's supposed to be selfish. He's supposed to be a striker.
Yes, that is the.
Could you
Julian, you've put.
Yeah, imagine Ian Wright doing that.
You're the striker. Yeah. You are the one. I'm sorry.
You're on a record as well.
You're the number 9. You're the number 9 of the team. With your Ian Wright, your Omri, your Haaland, or whatever. You are in the team, whether you like it or not. Goals, and it don't care. As my mate turned around and said, Harry Kane gets 22 goals a season, right? No one turns around and says, not in there, 22, but 5-10 of them are penalties.
Ivan Toney used to get from penalties.
Yeah, he is the main man.
And he's a good penalty taker as well.
And he is, and there's pressure on that position to score
goals. You still get the glory of scoring.
I didn't get that. I'm like...
Do you know what? I said before that penalty, whether he scored it or not, I weren't celebrating it because I was furious. I was furious with Kai Havertz more than anybody. Again, you got to look at the manager. He turned around and said, Martin Odegaard weren't there, Saka weren't there. I leave it to them to decide. You decide, no. I just thought that was poor. Poor again. Kai Havertz, and I'm with you, Julian. I'm disappointed that he didn't just grab hold of it. He's 4 foot bigger than him anyway, like, you know what I mean? Like, you just give us that ball, don't you? You know what I mean? I can't believe it. I can't believe what I see.
Not the sort of inspiring performance we wanted to see ahead of that.
No, it wasn't.
It was not. We haven't.
But we still won.
Yeah, that was.
Let's not get too upset.
Probably the only positive, really. We won the game.
That's quite a big positive.
It's a big positive.
It's a big positive. We won.
But we didn't. You know what I mean? Nobody was sort of like, look, we're back.
I think
after that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And according to your maths, we've already qualified, haven't we?
Well, someone said to me, the other day that we've already qualified.
Well, obviously they can't do maths because we've got 7 points and there's 5 games to go.
And how many teams qualify? How many teams go out of it? 8.
There's 8. So even when you look at
top 8, automatically,
but the bottom 8 go out. So if you've got 7 points and you've got 5,
how many games left?
5.
Well, so it's not.
So
why are people saying that then?
Because they're stupid.
Well, because they're
they can't add up.
Can we check the facts around that?
It's
easy.
Sure. But maybe they're playing each other or something. Why would they put that up there then? Like,
because they haven't done the maths, have they?
Even the guys to fact check that. I don't know.
Let's work it out. Even the teams with 0 points. If you got
they can still win their games.
If you've got 5 games to go, then That's
Yeah, but if they've got 5 games to go and
15
they're playing
points
against each
available,
other,
15 points.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
You
listen,
can't have qualified.
before
Seems a
you
bit strange.
before you get arrogant and cocky about things like you do.
Well,
I wouldn't. There might be circumstances why that don't happen.
I have to say, this new...
I can't do my 3 times table though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, Julian, say if they're playing against each other, right? All of those teams, only 3 teams can qualify from it.
Yeah, but there's 15 points available. I know that there's not 15 points for everyone.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
But all the teams at the bottom are kind of the pot 4 teams anyway. So they're not going to...
I don't know. So it was all on the. It was come through yesterday because of results.
And you called me and said, "Oh, by the way, we've already qualified."
According to what they said, I don't know.
According to what? Who said?
Yeah. Well, it was all on. It come through on the news feed saying that by those results, Arsenal
Twitter was
qualified.
it?
You believe everything you see without checking it first?
Instagram.
No. Oh, I haven't checked it. I haven't confirmed and said it wasn't like.
No, but you just mentioned it. You said
it. You mentioned it.
I never. No, excuse me. You mentioned it because, like, you know, like,
I wanted to see you bring it
so,
up.
like, you know what I mean? I ain't going to bring up saying I don't know.
You did.
Like, you know what I mean?
You're under a bit of pressure, really.
No, look, well, if someone said it, I'm going to. What? We're not allowed to have a conversation about it then.
Check the
I
facts
don't
first.
know. I don't know. Why should you check your facts? I think at the end of the day,
something you come in bold and mentioning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't know. We find out if they have. Like, you know
What's
what I
3
mean?
times 5?
I don't know. All I'm saying is, it's not as clear cut as what he's saying, because if all those teams are playing each other, you can't going to get 15 points. So you can, might be only out to get 6 points if you're playing each other. I don't know.
You've got 5 games left.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I understand what he's saying if they play each other.
Let's check it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I'm pretty certain. I'm 99% certain.
I turn around and you say, I don't see how that is, but like, that's what someone
I had a call off you last night and said Arsenal already qualified. How crap is that after 3 games?
If true, I said, like, you know what I mean?
All I know, right, is I don't like this new system. I don't like it. I don't
like it.
They put it up there. So the teams down at the bottom.
How many go down? How many do not survive?
The top 8 teams, as we're looking at there, the top 8 teams go through, right? So
and it's the next 16 that play each other.
We're actually 9th at the moment.
No, everyone plays. It's all done on the seeding basis.
Now, say if that was finished now, Julian, right? So we would be in the playoff, like,
we'd be in the playoffs
with and how many teams down there? So 16 more teams down from that, yeah.
Well, 15, because including us would be the 16th.
Yeah, so 16.
And
so
then,
look, why are you saying? Why are you being cocky? 16
because you
teams.
said 16 teams below. It's not.
Yeah, it is.
15
Arsenal are
teams
in that 16.
Are in 9th spot.
So they would be in the playoff.
9th to 20. Yes.
With 16 teams.
16 teams in the playoff, and then
so how many teams get left out of that then?
8.
8 go through.
So all of this, what we're going through now, only 8 teams are eliminated.
Yeah, we established that.
Yeah.
Ages ago.
8 teams are eliminated, and then you have the top 8 go through, and then that middle section there that you can see, they play off against each other.
So then Arsenal, you can't say Arsenal have qualified
so those teams
with
0 points. How many more games left are you saying?
5.
Yeah, so
there's 8 games left. So there's 8 games you're playing.
8 games in total, 5 games left. How could they?
So that's 15 points available if they're not all playing each other. But each team has each team has the ability to play.
Who else we got to play then? We got to play
We're playing
Sporting,
Girona,
we got to play Inter, Girona,
Monaco, and I think a team from
Sparta
Zagreb, isn't it?
Zagreb, I think it was.
Dynamo Zagreb. 5 games left.
I
can't see.
So Monaco must be right up there because they've won all 3. Have they won all?
Yeah, Monaco are. They're 4th.
So no, they've got 7 points.
Yeah, but they're 4th.
That's what I'm saying, though. This whole thing for me, at the moment, I mean, I said at the start, I'm going to give it, see how I feel about it, but
I don't like it.
I'm not really liking it. It's confusing. I'm like, I said to you the other night, Julian, where are we? What position are we in? What? You know,
I told you where we were.
Yeah, I know, but
we're
it's
13th,
you know what I mean. Like under the old system, I'd be able to even in my head sort of say, right, if we win the next few, we're through to the next stage. And this, it's a bit of I don't know. The early stages of this is worse than the early stages than we had the group stages before. And people used to say those seemed meaningless, but there was more. It seemed at the moment like there was more on those. Because you knew you had to get in that top 2 to qualify.
I think
and then you'd be like, right, and I need to really try win it to avoid coming as runners up, because then, you know, You could have a harder team in the next round, right? Like this one, I don't know what to make.
I think it makes it more interesting from Arsenal's perspective because of actually where we are.
Not so far it does.
Because we're a team that ultimately I'm pretty certain will qualify.
For where? 8th?
Well, this is the thing, is that I think the position we're in now...
We're going to qualify, Judy.
We're definitely going to qualify.
Right, so what do you want?
But are we going to qualify in that top 8 position, which makes it a little bit more interesting for us?
Well, that's why you want to win the group when it's the 4, isn't it?
Well, exactly. But in the 4, then when you come second, yes, it can make a difference because you end up playing the team that's first, but it doesn't make as much of a difference. You still don't have that extra game. So I think it makes it a little bit more interesting.
I think it don't matter.
It's a model.
Yeah.
Because the playoff now, you're not playing against the top 8. You're playing against, like when...
But you're playing all different teams.
When you got
makes
second,
it more
when
interesting.
you got second, you knew you'd be playing a team that was one at the top of the group. Now you come second, you're playing a team that's second as well.
Yeah, and then I think
got the same incentive.
You're
I think
playing more
I
teams.
think it was good. I like playing. When I think about it, I like playing teams home and away. Like, we play PSG, but now that's it. You know what I mean? Like, last night I was watching the game last night. Barcelona, they played Bayern Munich, thrashed them 4-1, but now there's no return game. Where that would have been really interesting to see what Bayern's reaction would be in the return leg. You know what I mean? I'm not too sure about this format
better then?
I think so.
Not at the moment.
Why are you saying you like the format better?
For 2 reasons. The first one, because of where Arsenal are, is that it makes it more interesting to try and get into that top 8, which is harder than getting, for me, in the top 2 in a group stage. And the other thing is, yeah, it is.
Well, what do you mean? Like, so it makes
it makes it harder to get into that top 8 than it is the top 2 because of the number of teams there. And the second part is I like the idea of playing more teams so you can see other teams.
No,
it just makes it more interesting.
So far, I have to say, I'm not impressed.
It's just change. You're not used to change.
It is change, but I was right from the beginning. I said I'm going to get a chance. I want to give it a chance.
I'm still going to give it a chance.
And I'm still giving it a chance.
I'm just interested what theory makes you think it's better this month.
I'm
I haven't got a clue.
I just told you there's 2 things
I'm a bit
prefer.
confused by the whole thing. I'm just like, I don't know where certain teams are at, who's where. But I'm
not really. But if you get into the top, do you know what people are saying? Which I don't know if you're alluding to. You don't want the extra 2 games. But you're saying you want more games.
You want to automatically qualify. You want to get through.
You do want to.
You just said you want more games, so you'll be happy going to a qualifier.
No, what I said was I'm interested to see more teams. And that's what we're seeing is that we're playing...
More teams for what?
No, we're playing different teams, aren't we?
Who are?
See, Arsenal.
So you'll be happy for the playoff then? We get to play another team?
No, because I want to see Arsenal...
Or you don't want the games?
No, I don't want those extra 2.
You want us to get into the top 8 or you're not bothered?
I want us to get into the top 8 because I don't want those 2 extra games. Not because I won't enjoy going to those games.
Why don't you want the 2 extra games?
Because the extra games for me will be an extra burden on the squad and will diminish our chances of doing better in the Premier League, which to me is more important.
If you get Celtic away, wouldn't you enjoy those 2 games?
I said I'd enjoy it from a fan environment, but from the team's success. Ultimately, at the end of the season, I want to see Arsenal successful, and there's more chance of Arsenal being successful
in the top 8.
And it gives it an extra thing to play for.
I'm finding it a little bit confusing. Even in a league, you play.
Having a look at it now, right? We've got Inter Milan coming up. Do you think Arsenal get in the top 8?
If we beat Inter Milan, then yes. I think the next game will be quite crucial to Arsenal getting the top 8.
If we lose that, you don't think we get top 8?
I think it doesn't absolutely hinge on that, but I would say if we beat Inter Milan, we will get into top 8. The probabilities we'll get into top 8.
I'm just saying, right, that even when you play in a league,
because we've got
you play teams twice. I don't. I'm confused by this whole thing, man.
That's the only thing I don't.
How do you work it out that certain teams play this team and
because they're in different pots? That's how it's worked
this
out.
So-called computer.
It's different. Honestly, it's different pots, which is coefficient of how well they've done over the last few seasons. So it is fair.
I don't think it's fair because I look at some teams that play like Bayern Munich and Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Aston Villa. Bayern Munich have had a tougher lot than us.
And they're a top seed.
But then what happens when you have the group stages and there's 4 teams in the group? You can have what's called the group of death, can't you? Other times, so last season we had a very easy group. I mean, I said it was similar to the first few rounds of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, that group. It was obvious, even though we lost that first game, you looked at the quality of the teams in our group, we were always going to get in the top 2 of that group.
I do agree with that. But look at our home games. Let's be honest. Have we got what you would say a real exciting game at home?
We had PSG.
Was that really exciting?
Well, PSG's an exciting game.
I'm
saying, Lee, I would then like to have gone and played PSG away. Right, because we beat them at home. Let's go and test ourselves away to them now. And then you're playing a team that you beat. They're up for revenge. They want to turn it around. Inter
Milan, by the way.
Inter Milan were going to test
Inter Milan are a top team.
No.
They've got us and Man City.
No. Listen,
they're top Man City.
They're a top side, right?
But they played Man City.
That's an exciting game. If we go winner and we lose,
pot two.
wouldn't you then really have wanted, like under the normal circumstances, like when we get them back home?
Yeah,
we're going to turn that around. You ain't got that. I don't know any league where you only play a team once.
So it's different.
That's what I'm saying.
It's something new.
Something
new.
I'm not feeling it at the moment. I'm telling you, I'm not feeling it. It's just
I don't really.
It's a bit puzzling. It's a bit muddled for me. I mean, you don't really know where you go out and do a little survey on Arsenal fans now and say what position are we in this, right? I'll tell you, half of them wouldn't even know.
I'm sure they
where
would.
you are.
Do you know what? And I'll be really honest with, and I see what Julian's saying with the two teams going out. I never enjoyed it when it starts. For me,
depends what group you got.
When it's knockout,
depends what group you got though.
Yeah, but did you enjoy the Champions League last season? It was not really.
It was good because it was the first thing. We hadn't been in it for a while, but it wasn't that competitive for us. Apart from that first game.
And then when you
Lons.
get to the first, the best game. It started when we played Porto.
You know what they could have done? They could have done a couple of bigger groups. Right, that might have been a better idea. Instead of doing this one massive group, maybe they could have done a couple of bigger groups where, say, the top 4 qualify or something like that. But this thing where you got like all teams lumped into one. For starters, I've never seen a league so long with so many teams in it. It just seems confusing to me. I'm not feeling it at the moment. I'm telling you.
No, I'm not feeling it at the moment.
Anyway, we got to look ahead to the big one at the weekend. Arsenal taking on Liverpool. Just before we do that. Right, I need to address something, right? Because there's something that happened also at that Bournemouth game. It almost set the tone for how poorly Arsenal performed in that game. It was a penalty. Well, no, sorry,
They
were so bad they seemed like penalties. It was a crossbar challenge that 2 participants that regularly come on this show, yes, I'm talking about Lee and Julian, took part in. Now, let's just give ourselves a bit of, go back a bit and think about this. There's a certain person on here who's always complaining about how it's unfair that kids get to get on the pitch at half-time and take penalties against Gunnosaurus and this and that, and it's not competitive. And why is it? It's ageism, because we never get a chance to do those things. I'd love to go on the pitch at half-time, right? That person is Julian, right? On the day when we was waiting for the game to start, a representative of Bournemouth came round to me and he said, Robbie, we're looking for people to come on the pitch at half-time for a crossbar challenge. Would you like to do it? I said, you know what? I know a person who would be perfect for this. He's always moaning about the fact that he never, gets to fulfill his dream of playing on a pitch and kids always get on there. I go and ask that guy over there, Julian. So he did. He went over there. Julian agreed to do the penalty shootout. He then also managed to bring Lee with him on it as well. Now, let me remind you that Julian has been telling us on this show for a long time that he's an expert in penalties, expert in the crossbar challenge. How he went on a cruise ship. And remember, he brought in his trophy and showed us how he won that crossbar challenge on that cruise ship.
This one is the silver medal for the cross. Well, it would have been the gold. It's a silver medal for the crossbar challenge on the Royal Caribbean. There was 20.
What? A boat?
Yeah, but 20 people entered. 20
people.
Yeah, 20 people entered. This is serious.
Yeah,
let me finish.
He also came on the show and showed us a video where he beat Lee in a crossbar challenge with a goal that he erected in his back garden, which, by the way, he uses to practice with.
Oh, we don't like to see that, do we?
This is his big moment. Along with Lee, let me just mention Lee as well. Remember, Lee plays football at a very high level, he tells us. Week in, week out, right? For his team, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you their crossbar challenge at halftime. We've got the footage of it, right? We've got footage of it. They didn't want it shown, but we've got the footage of it. Take a look at this. Julian's first here. Look at this runner. Oh, he's good. I mean, that is absolutely...
Was it a post challenge? I think it's a post.
That is dreadful.
Crossbar
challenge. Can we see it again? Yeah, let's see it again. Let's see it again. Here he comes. Tried to cheat as well, by the way, by pushing the ball forward. What? Right, can we get Lee's one? I want to see Lee's because he's here laughing, right? Let's see. This is Lee's challenge now. Lee's crossbar challenge. Let's see this one.
That was worse than mine.
Nowhere near as worse.
What the hell was it? And then to top it off, people, let's see it again. Look at that. It's dreadful. Crossbar. They barely lifted the ball off the ground. And to make it worse, when they were then walking back to their seats after taking that, the Arsenal fans started singing to them, "You let the Arsenal down, you let the Arsenal down." I mean, lads, honestly, that was an absolute disgrace.
But there was a...
Don't give me no excuses.
No,
You've been telling us how good you are at crossbar challenges.
For a start, you got one shot, and I'd like to practice, and I asked the guy to practice. The second thing was that I asked the guy for some boots before the game.
The guy who won it.
Said,
hold on, wait a minute. The guy who won it, yeah?
They knew that they were
Wait a minute. The guy who won it is a Bournemouth guy who hit the crossbar. Was he wearing boots?
He had the right footwear.
What footwear was he wearing? He had on trainers.
I had those.
Stop lying. He had on trainers like you.
I had big round trainers.
So everybody had trainers on. Everybody didn't know that they was doing. The one thing that you don't realise in that clip, which it is the biggest thing, is it. I couldn't believe it when I actually got on the pitch.
So wet, so slippery.
It was like slippery. It was very, very slippery. And that is the only excuse that we got is that when you're going up footwear as well.
If these guys ever slag off Ty again for saying it was raining. After what he just said there.
It was so
the pitch was slippery.
He was worried about...
And you had one shot. He wouldn't let me practice. He wouldn't give me...
I was first up as well. Just like get the ball...
Excuses.
No, I'm not making that. Look, listen, we're not making excuses. We're poor effort. No, it's a poor effort. But at the end of the day, you didn't realise how slippery that was. I was very surprised.
They dig him out.
Very shocked by how wet that pitch was.
He said that they didn't have boots. And I said, you're a Premiership football club. You must have size 9s in the boot room. He goes, no, we haven't got any.
Why would he have size 9s in the boot room for a half-time penalty shootout? Would it bring in a couple of fans out from the terrace?
You can see why.
Why would you have supply? What, do you want kit as well, do you?
Yeah, they probably
I mean, listen, you were rubbish.
What was rubbish?
Face the facts. You're rubbish at football.
It was no.
You are.
No.
Let's be real now.
I need to practice.
That penalty.
I
keep saying penalty because it looked like, even if it was a penalty, he barely got over the line.
It was a bit like Trossard's.
At least we scored at Bournemouth, which is more than any Arsenal.
No, it's a crossbar challenge, mate. You got nowhere near
the
crossbar.
I'll say to Julian.
Let's move on now.
I said to Julian, one thing I said about it, if I ain't hitting the crossbar, I'm scoring. I just said that, like, you know what I mean? I wanted to score.
That. And the other thing is that you could have done it as well. There was room for you.
No, but I gave it up. No, I gave it up for you because you come on this show and you talk about how it's not fair that kids are taking penalties at half time. Not fair that Gunnosaurus deliberately allows them to score. I want it to be. It should be competitive.
Yes,
all these things. You got your big chance.
And he blew it.
You told us about how you went on that cruise ship. Now I don't even believe that. I don't believe that cruise ship.
You've seen the medal.
I don't believe it. I've seen the medal. I don't believe it. I need to see footage.
All right.
After that,
it was a poor effort.
It was poor.
But at least we did it. We had a great time.
Yeah, it was
great.
Don't
bring me into it. It was great. That was absolutely shocking.
You said you were too busy at half time.
I gave you a chance, right?
Thank you.
I gave you your big chance, man, and you blew it.
Right, let's move on.
But we had a good... Well, listen, we walked on the pitch, you know what I mean? All the players waving at us and all that as we walked on was fantastic.
The crowd booing us.
Yeah. And they waved at you as you came on, and when you was coming off, they were sticking their two fingers up and telling you to get off.
All right, let's move on. Liverpool, isn't it? Liverpool on?
You still want to go on the pitch at half-time at
Yes, but I'm going to wear the right...
No, listen, I don't know why you keep going on about footwear. It's the same for everybody.
Exactly.
Exactly. And
Anyway,
at the end of the day, it's a fans thing. Like you're at the game, they ask you to go on there. You know what I mean?
You didn't want to do it. You had to drag
because
it down.
Arsenal, you know, we're down to 10 men. No, I didn't want to do it. But like, he's going to me halfway through the game. Do you think they let me go out and go to JD Sports and get me a pair of boots? I'm going, for Christ's sake, Julian. It's just a bit of fun. You know what I mean?
It's not though, is it? Because this is what happens.
Well, it's still fun.
anyway,
We done it. They didn't.
as you said, the big one this weekend, Liverpool now. Liverpool at home. Arsenal could be without Saka. Still, we don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know, Lee, you heard anything? I know you got some good sources right around there, but we could be without Saka. Could be without Calafiori. He went down. That's another one, you know what I mean? We don't know what's going to happen with Timber. I'm a bit worried if we go into this game with those players missing. Right, with all of them missing, I'm a bit worried because Liverpool are playing well at the moment. They won against RB Leipzig away. That was impressive to go away and win that. Kept a clean sheet. They rode their luck, but they kept a clean sheet. There's people saying that if we lose this game, the title race is over. They'd be 7 points clear of us. If we win the game, we're back to within a point. We've got a good record against them at home. Last 4 meetings, we haven't lost to Liverpool. We smashed them last year at home 3-1. But this game is huge. Mikel Arteta said it's going to be a different Arsenal this weekend. We're going to be flying, he said. We have to be flying if we're going to beat them, Lee.
Yeah, I'm going to put it out there now. I'll be surprised if Saka's not playing.
Not playing? You feel he'll play?
I think he'll play.
Okay.
I think they're holding him back for this one. And giving them an extra bit of time and all that. But I will say this, a hamstring injury, 2 weeks today.
Yeah.
Which is touch and go. If it was a slight little strain, which I think that it may have been like.
Well, they said it was slight, innit? But
yeah, so I think that he's got a good chance of being available for this one. I'm not so sure about Timber because it's obviously a little bit more serious. Maybe touch and go with him, but I'll be.
So who plays then for Saliba?
I'll put Kivior in.
You're going to laugh at me when I say this.
Go on.
But I don't want to see Thomas Partey going at right back and Ben White coming in there. I think if
Rice?
I'd play Declan Rice for this game.
Yeah, could be a good shout.
It's played there before, back in the day.
And then it gives you the midfield, like Marino comes in, or even you bring in Jorginho. And I think that because if you say like bring Kivior over there, like you're then moving Ben White. You're moving different positions. Like if you're putting Declan Rice in, there's a lot of talk about putting Ben White in. I think then you're making 2 changes when you only need to make 1.
That's why I said Kivior, but I think it's a better shout for Rice. Although again, you're taking Rice out of his natural position, but I think you've got enough cover there.
That's the only reason.
What if Calafiori's out?
Well, then you've got
to go Zinchenko or
Zinchenko or.
Zinchenko's had a rough time against Salah
or Kivior.
It's interesting that he put Miles Skelly on in front of everybody else. Why? I don't know. Would he trust him in there to do that?
It's worrying, these injuries, though, isn't it? It's worrying.
This is the thing when
it's strange, isn't it? Like we've got so many defenders and they're all out and plus one of them suspended.
This is why I think Calafiori was brought in, because Tomiyasu you can't rely on. Mm-hmm. And I also think, as much as I like Timber and everything, I always thought this was going to happen. He's never going to come back in after that major injury and be weak. He's always going to get little setbacks. And I think because of Tomiyasu not being injured, we had to probably play him more times than necessary. And we got injured. He's got injured. We've got to now start. I think Ben. I don't know if you've seen the Ben White interview. It's fantastic, by the way. But he asked, "What's your best asset?" Reliability is what he said. Like, and I think that is what we got. We've got too many players in this team that are not reliable on fitness, and it puts pressure and strain on the squad. Which is why now we've got Timber out. And listen, the perfect player for this game would have been Tomiyasu fit.
Yeah.
And he's not, again. And that is reliability.
Has there been any update on Tomiyasu?
Well, he's going to be out for for a few weeks, isn't he?
Yeah, the big thing is right as well. Is that
Who would you play at left back?
The
Who would you
sending
play?
off of Saliba.
He's massive.
Because we would only have been talking about trying to replace one position, right? If had it not been for that, because Ben White would have just come in at right back, you'd have had your two centre backs,
Yeah.
and you'd be thinking, right, who do we play at left back if Calafiori's injured? But now, you know what I mean?
I think Calafiori's going to be out for a few weeks.
It could be worse. If it's
it looked really
ligaments.
bad.
Yeah, it looked bad.
He went over and he sort of, it didn't look like a good one. It looks like the sort of thing.
And can I ask a question? You know what I mean? Again, about why that. They've got all these screens on TV and all that. When I see it on,
It's obvious that he ain't.
you see that on the other. What are you bringing him back on from? What are you bringing him back on
because he
for?
said he could play. You don't
But you
let
see
the player make that
screen-
decision.
Yeah, exactly. You see that screen and go, "Cool, that looks a bit awkward." We've got games coming up now. No. But they just sit down, run it.
It
and
might
then
have been
it goes
like
down
it might have
again.
been like they said, if you feel anything at all, just sit down.
Yeah, but when you see that, well, I never thought it was. I thought it was a kick at first. I was a bit further away. Well, when you actually see that, you think, "Oh." My first thought is, this could be a lot worse than what I thought. So why are you letting him back on the pitch?
They did the same with Timber. They let him play, let him go out for the second half.
Yeah, exactly. These are mistakes that we should not be making.
Yeah. I mean,
Who would you play at left back, by the way, guys? You haven't mentioned who you play.
Well, it depends if Timber's fit. If Timber's fit, I'd play
No,
him
he's
there.
not. We're saying that he's not. You've got Kvyat that could play there. You've got
It depends.
Zinchenko. You've got Miles Skelly.
I mean, for me, it depends on the fitness of Zinchenko. If Zinchenko's fully fit, I'll play him.
listen,
If he's fully fit.
it's worrying, man, because that's Salah.
But it's worrying
Right?
whoever
And
will play against.
even fully fit, right? Zinchenko can't handle Salah. We've seen over the years, right?
well, not a lot of people can. To be fair.
Well, not a lot of people can,
And
but
he gives us something
he's
extra
had
as well.
He's had a particularly hard time against him. Kvyat
Kvyat
wasn't
hasn't got
great
the
last
speed.
week, was he? Wasn't
No.
very inspiring what he did. So, you know, and Miles Skelly's a kid. Well,
Yeah, it's an issue. I mean, personally,
even if you get Timber ain't going to be like 100%, is he?
we don't
Or
know.
I don't know.
but he's not played for
don't know.
about a month, has he?
So I
he
say
may
he could
be.
be 100% fit, but is he going to have that sharpness? Even Ben White's had a couple of games.
If
and
he
not
had that
put him to
sharpness
his
when he
best.
came back from the ACL injury, he looked sharp straight away. It was quite
But
amazing.
he's had all
But
the
I'll be honest with you, like,
It
especially
could be
with
a bit of
Calafiori,
rustiness,
I'll be putting Timber in at the right, and you know, as a centre back. We saw him even pre-season. He was excellent, and I think he'd slot in nicely. For there is the Declan Rice thing you said, but
I think Declan
if
Rice
Timber
is a good
was
shout. I
fit,
didn't think of that.
if Timber was fit, I think that's my centre back, Timber and Gabriel, and then you pray that
if Timber's
Calafiori's
fit,
fit.
I'm playing him at left back.
Yeah, I'm playing him at left back,
Yeah.
and then I'll put.
This is a worry.
Declan
This
Rice
is a worry
in or
because you know
Kvyat.
Liverpool's strength is those front three. They're so good, right? So it's a big worry. It's a big worry for me. You know, it'd be great if Saka's back. You know, but it's a big worry when you're missing defenders against a team where their strength is their attackers. Even they can bring on Gakpo and people like that. Darwin Núñez, they've got a lot of pace up front, and that's their strength. So it's a big worry.
I'm going to say it now. I ain't fearful if Zinchenko's playing.
No, I'm not either. It depends on his fitness.
At the end of the
level.
day, Salah's going to skin him a few times because Salah is good enough to skin anybody and all that. But I think at the end of the day, he has played left back for us for a couple of years. He's not. He gets pillared because of that Anfield thing. You know what I mean? Like, but that can happen to any fullback.
And also, Slot plays the game slightly
little bit
differently
different.
because he's a bit more defensively minded. And I watched the game last night, and I thought, you know, I'm not going to be dismissive of Liverpool at all. I thought they played well, but they were fortunate. If that centre forward understood the offside rule, then Pender, he would have scored a few goals.
Turkish, a Pender?
Yeah,
The guy that you keep telling us to sign?
He didn't seem to understand
No,
the
he's-
offside rule at all. And,
I mean, it was a
you know,
great finish for that first
it was
one, but
brilliant, but he just
there's a stay
switched off, and then for the second one as well. And then also, when you look at their goal, they're raving about that header. But the centre half, he's 6 foot. Yakumba, I think his name is 6 foot. He jumps too early, so he's coming down. So he
It's
didn't
still
even
a good window to go away to.
it was a good win, but the luck was with them. There was quite a
It's
it was
not
quite
luck if you're
fortunate.
offside, is it?
No, because
They rode
because
the luck
of
a bit, you know
Openda,
what I mean, because they did have chances,
because of
but-
the way Openda played didn't send the offside. That was a couple of goals. The goal I thought was defensively terrible by that centre
There's
half.
the goal there. Our goal the other night was defensively terrible by them. You know what I mean? That happens, isn't it? But they went away to Leipzig.
They did.
Difficult place to go and got a win.
And he's got an excellent record slot. I think he's got. I was looking at it. I think he's got like 63.79% win ratio over his career, which is just tremendous. I think Arteta's at like 59.17%. He's got far more games. He's got a brilliant win ratio. Obviously, the start he's had, but the start he's had at Liverpool, like 93%.
But
win
what I'd
ratio.
say is this, right? Liverpool did lose to Nottingham Forest, right?
Lost once.
Right, they lost to Nottingham Forest, and even that game last week against Chelsea, I thought Chelsea was sticking it on them. I thought, you know, Chelsea could probably argue a bit that they were a little bit unfortunate not to get something.
I'm not buying into that. That Liverpool allowed that to happen. That's part of the. That's part of the thing.
Allowed them to
Yeah,
have
but what
ball
I'm saying, it
possession.
wasn't a comfort. It didn't blow Chelsea away. So I'm
Don't really blow
saying
anyone away when you look at the results.
I'm
that's
saying,
the way they played it.
I think this game's going to be. Listen, they're probably the favourites to win this game because
No.
Liverpool. I'd say at the bookies they might probably going to be the favourites. The reason
Arsenal favourites.
let me tell you the reason why, because of all the injuries. They you know
They've got injuries
they're
as
on
well.
form.
They've got Jota out.
They've got their goalkeeper
Jota
out.
and Alisson out, but they, you know, I mean, they've got. That's their strength in depth is up front. They've got a lot of players to cover Jota being missing. And he might even play, by the way. But they've got a lot of players to cover that, right? The injuries that we've got to key players, a lot of key players, and the way they're playing, they're on form. We're on a little bit of a, you know, downward, not downward, but a downer at the moment. I'd say they are. Most people will probably make them favourites to win that game. Right, but what I'm saying, I feel that we can win the game. It does remind me a lot of last year when we played them, because remember, if I remember rightly, West Ham
5 points behind.
5 points.
We'd lost to West Ham, hadn't we?
We lost to West Ham. We'd lost them in the FA Cup.
Yeah,
a few weeks before.
And a lot of people was thinking we were going to get smoked in that game, and we didn't. We did that to them. We smoked them. Got to play with that same sort of intensity that we played with when we played them that day, because I've seen a lack of that intensity over the last few games, and we need to see that come back if we're to.
I think I'm going to say it now. Forget all the injuries and that. I'm desperate for this sort of game. This is the perfect game that we need, and I'll tell you why. Because the other games we've expected to win, and you know what I mean, hasn't been. We have to be on our game for this one. We've got to be up for it. I don't think we've really played that well. PSG. For the first half was great, but like we're talking about Premier League, since Manchester City, that first half of Man City, we was really up for the game.
Wasn't the first half, was it like 25 minutes?
Yeah,
the first 20 minutes they're all over.
Yeah,
us.
but you still got to defend properly, which we've done, and we've done everything. You know, like they scored a goal, which was poor defending, but ultimately on that 45 minutes, we was right bang on it, and I think we've got to be bang on it. We've got to be up for the game. I think at times, dare I say it, we've not, as fan base, you know, there's an expectation to go and beat Leicester, expectation to go and beat Southampton. On this game here, it's you know, 50-50, you know what I mean? And the fans will be right up for it. I think we need this game, and we need to go out there and we need to get
It's the sort of game that if we win, it gets us right back on track. Back on track in the league, because we're just a point off them. But just like point. Back on track in general. It lifts the spirits. It's like all of that. The Bournemouth game's right behind you. If we win that game, the Bournemouth game's right behind us.
We won on Tuesday, right? Don't matter how you won it.
Yeah.
But it's not give us a buzz, is it?
No.
You know what I mean? Like, but if we win 1-0 and it's against Liverpool, and it ain't a great. I don't think it's going to be a great game, by the way.
No, because he'll come and defend.
Because he did, and I think Arsenal will be cautious as well. Like, you know what I mean? But if we go and win that game, there'll be a buzz about it because we've won the game. You know, because of the importance of it.
Yeah, I think in this game, to win this game, we can't be overly cautious. I think if we try to just be,
they want.
I think if this game's all about control and stuff like that. Right, I think then, you know, they've been doing that better than us so far.
They want us to attack them.
What we got to do that game is that same sort of tempo like last year when we got at them right from the start of the game. We were up and at them immediately. We need to do that on Sunday. If we try to just like control, they're going to grow into the game, and you know they've got dangerous players up front, and we could get hurt. We've just got to like Almost like what Klopp used to do to us when we used to go to Liverpool. We got to go and try and blaze them away. That's what I feel.
That's not how Arteta's playing.
I know.
Yeah.
But that is how we played in that game when we played them last year, and that's, I feel.
Do you think Arteta has been a little bit overcautious this season?
He has, and if you actually think about last season, we were the same. Remember at the start of the season, it was the second part of the season we were different. First part of the season, remember we played, for instance, like we played Tottenham and we drew with them, and then we had a few games like that where we were like, oh, come on, man, we were not, it was all, again, it was a lot about control. There was some sort of different
what happened the season before.
Yeah, there was some sort of different tactics used, like, Partey was being paid in a right back. We didn't have Gabriel playing as a centre back for a couple of games, and everyone was like, well, what's, you know what I mean? And then we got into our rhythm, we got into our, it's very similar at the moment to this year. But this is the game now where I feel, come on, let's get motoring. Let's get a bit of fluency in our play. Let's go out and put in a nice attacking display in this game, because, I think there's been a good attacking from individuals, but as an attacking force, over the last few games, apart from that first half in PSG, like you said,
we need
not seen that, real, defending's been decent and that, but that real attacking force, we haven't really seen that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Arsenal need to win this game, because after the Bournemouth game, we've gone down to third favourites from being favourites. Now to third favourites because of what, I know it changes week by week, but I think this is I think Arsenal needs a statement to say, look, there's nothing better than going and beating one of your rivals with a couple of players missing as well. It just tells you, particularly at home as well. And with the games coming up, our next two away games are Newcastle and Chelsea. I don't think we can afford to drop points at home. I really don't. If
because you go into those games.
We've got Preston and Milan. We're doing a lot of travelling the next.
Yeah, but worry about those two games in the league, right? Those are two really, really tough games, right? So you want to go into those games with the spirits up.
Yeah, you can't.
We lost at Newcastle last year. Remember, that was the other one. Yeah, we lost at Newcastle last year.
That's when we got cheated out.
Right, and we drew against Chelsea. So those was two games.
We were poor against Chelsea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Last season, if you remember, we didn't start well. We didn't start fluid. We drew at Chelsea 2-2. We just scraped it against Luton. Remember?
Yeah.
Right. We weren't. Is the new year came, and then we went to Dubai, come back, like all of a sudden, bang, bang.
We haven't got that this year, though.
Yeah, I know we haven't got that, but I'm saying we hit the real form in the new year. It's not about being top even now, That's the one thing I keep thinking about. I'm like, there's people moaning to me, we should be top. It don't matter. We've been top at Christmas. We didn't win the league. It's about being in and around it. It's about being in that position where you can mount that charge in the second half of the season. I see how Pep breaks down his season. You know what I mean? He doesn't even use certain players early in the season. Look how he's sort of not really used Foden much yet, but then he'll bring Foden in. I think you have to kind of structure out your season, how you're going to mount that challenge. But certainly, a win against Liverpool will be that sort of thing that lifts the spirits ahead of that run now to the next international break.
And I also think that if Saka does come back, I think he's needed that rest anyway. I know he's not been injured, but I think he needed a little bit extra couple of weeks break.
But Robbie doesn't.
No, because we suffered without him. I mean, listen, and the two players, our two top players that have been injured, by the way, haven't had nothing to do with Arsenal, right?
No.
They've both been on international duty. That's why these international breaks, 3 of them since the start of the season, are absolutely ridiculous. Why 3? We've got another one coming up again for Nations League games. Right, this is why all these players complain about playing so much football.
Well, there's been 2, haven't there?
There's been 2. We've got another one coming up. It's going to be 3. Sorry. So that will make 3 breaks. And in 2 of those breaks, our best players have been injured.
And Zinchenko.
Yeah, our best players have been injured in the international breaks.
For Ukraine?
I think so. I don't think he got injured at an Arsenal game, did he?
No.
So, Odegaard's been missing since September. So... And that's why, and that game proved to me on Saturday, for instance, right, why we need Saka in it. It doesn't matter you're playing Bournemouth. You don't turn up for these games with your A game, and you ain't got your best players, man. You can have problems.
We still probably would have won that game with 11 men.
You say that. Like the other night, when you were saying, you sat there, you said we beat Shakhtar 5-0, right?
Yeah. I think we would have won.
How do you think we would have got on with them in that second half with 10 men? The way they were giving part with 11 men, the troubles they were giving us right down the
They
flanks
weren't
and
giving
that.
us that. They had one shot on target.
No, but with 10 men,
They had
how
one
do you think
shot.
we would have gotten in that game? That's what I'm saying. I mean,
I thought we
we-
was always in control.
Yeah.
It was like, once we missed the penalty, we just we didn't get control of midfield, but we was never really looking like they was going to score until that
No.
last. So we missed the
There
penalty.
was
like,
one-
it
they
was-
had
they
one
got
shot.
nervous then, yeah.
Couple
All right.
of crosses.
let's get into it. Predictions for Sunday, Liverpool.
I think it'd be a low-scoring draw, 0-0 or 1-0. I just think that both managers will look at that as a no-lose.
Lee?
2-1 to the Arsenal. I think a draw is a poor result for us as well.
Yeah, I think Arsenal win as well. I'm going to go for 2-1. I think I don't think we're going to see the performance we saw against Shakhtar. You know,
If we do, we've lost.
we will raise that. And I do believe, I kind of agree with what Lee was saying. It's like, there's players there that playing the other night. It's like I had a one eye on. It's a bit like, you know, when you play a game the week before a cup final.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
mean.
kind of, some players
I
are sort
agree.
of like, you know, they're playing, they're doing their best, but it's not all in.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking Sunday. That's what I think. That's what I hope anyway. But, you know, that team selection and who's fit and who's not fit
Well,
is going to make
the starting 11
big
is going to be
starting 11.
that is gonna
You know what I mean? It's a starting
that's
11
gonna
show,
be
guys.
Really, that is going to be the most important starting 11.
Yeah,
since we've
that
been
starting
doing it.
11 show on Sunday you do not want to miss, because that is going to reveal how we're going to shape up for that game against Liverpool. As we come to the end of the show today, guys.
Yeah, thanks for humiliating us today.
No,
I
you
appreciate
humiliated
that.
yourself, right? I didn't humiliate you. You humiliated yourself, right?
There's nothing like
the
highlight.
crossbar challenge expert, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, don't forget, just to reiterate, Omili, we got that big debate coming up between AGT of the COP TV and also Cecil. That's 2 p.m. tomorrow. Download the Omili app right now, scan the QR code on the screen and get involved in that. Like I said, it's all in audio. You get a chance to join the debate. You can vote on the debate as well, so make sure you get involved with that. Also, a couple of videos to tell you about. We've got a super fan debate ahead of the game against Liverpool. Akin Fenwa, the beast, of course, he used to play football, joined us on that. I'll tell you what, he's a massive Liverpool fan, right? And you'll see why on the show. It was brilliant. So make sure you check that out. I think those are out now. So get involved in that as well. And of course, we're going to be previewing the game. And like the guy said, the starting 11. We're all over that game. Massive, massive game. The biggest game of the weekend. Arsenal versus Liverpool. Guys, thank you again, once again. And thanks to you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget, we're here every week with the Invincible podcast. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.